Bitcoin is reaching the tipping point of the 60-day cycle. In today's video, I will tell you exactly when you know the new 60-day cycle is confirmed, which level we need to break, where liquidity is right now, so what we can expect with the Bitcoin price in the next coming days. And I'm also going to share with you a scenario with Bitcoin for the coming years to come, which is going to be very interesting. Guys, let's jump straight into it. Bitcoin is going through 60-day cycles, and if you don't know what the 60-day cycle is, I really recommend you to read this article over on willporter.com, where I'm exactly explaining how the 60-day cycle works, which has been founded or created or discovered, might be even better said, by Bob Lucas, which is another content creator or analyst, where we will talk about in today's video as well. But on willporter.com, we also are tracking the Bitcoin 60-day cycle in the cycle counter. Right now, we are on day 57, and when we go to the Bitcoin price, then there is always one very important key metric that tells us when we have started a new 60-day cycle. So the big question right now is, of course, with that pump in the Bitcoin price that we have seen Sunday evening, did we start a new 60-day cycle? The short answer is no, we did not. And that's because of this yellow line right here. The yellow line is the 10-day moving average, simple moving average. And what we want to see in order to filter the noise, to get a good confirmation, almost as good as a confirmation for a new 60-day cycle, is whenever Bitcoin breaks above the 10-day moving average, this yellow line, as you can see right here, around or after the 60-day mark. So right now we are on day 57. Makes complete sense if we would break above this level that we confirm a new 60-day cycle, right? But we haven't done it. We came up to the 10-day moving average, but so far we got rejected. And this is very important because maybe in the next coming days into that 60-day mark, we are going to see still a little bit more downside. Reason why is when we bring out the liquidation heat maps, we can also see that most liquidity right now is below us, concentrated at 108,000. So it would kind of make sense, like it's kind of like a perfect picture what we are seeing right here. If Bitcoin would come down into 108, maybe go a little bit lower, or maybe in the next coming days coming to that 108, actually touching this white line right here. This white line is a very important support level. I can show you when we are zooming out on the weekly time frame how important this level is. Here you can see we had multiple touches with this level, and frankly a lot of these touches were also on 60-day cycle lows. So right now, from a short-term analyst perspective, it looks like we have a couple of days left until hitting the 60-day cycle low. Often that comes along with a lot of volatility, a flush, so to say, a capitulation event. We can already feel the sentiment being very pessimistic right now. So a last flush would really make sense, but it would also be very great to hold above this level and eventually start a new 60-day cycle. So generally what we want to see right now is we want to see Bitcoin taking that liquidity down at 108,000, but maybe go slightly below that, touch that white line in the 60-day. That's probably going to be the start of October, the first week of October. And then to confirm the next 60-day cycle, we actually want to climb back up again and then break above the 10-day moving average. And the 10-day moving average right now is at 112,000 roughly, but every day this metric will decrease, of course, if the Bitcoin price decreases as well. So in a couple of days this metric will be at a different level than it is right now. Right now, like I said, it is at roughly 112,000 US dollars. So to draw a scenario for you guys, maybe we do something like this where we just come down right here, then we form the 60-day cycle low somewhere early October, maybe the 2nd or 3rd of October. Then we get a nice buying event, and then we break above, and that the yellow line will come right here or something, and then we break above the 10-day moving average, that is the confirmation that we are in a new cycle. I find this a very nice, and it fits kind of perfectly in all the scenarios that we are seeing. And what I always like with this analysis is that it also fits perfectly in the data profile. So yesterday's video, we have been looking at the data profile from derivatives exchange data, the buying and selling pressure heat maps. They all already say that the selling pressure is decreasing. So I think in many cases, guys, right now everything is lining up. So I'm pretty confident about what is going to come. Of course, everything can happen. The data profile can change as well. But what I'm seeing right now, I think the picture is quite clear. So that is about the shorter term time frame. And now I want to bring out, guys, one of the content creators that I personally like the most, that I have found to be most accurate, that I've learned a lot for myself as well. That is Bob Lucas, and he kind of is the inventor, but inventor is the wrong word because it's a discoverer, because it's already existing, but Bob Lucas just created a structure around it. So he is actually the creator of the 4-year cycle. But 4-year cycles exist on Bitcoin, so he discovered it. But he discovered it and he structuralized it, so you are able to analyze it and you are able to execute on it. And that's what's the power of this beautiful guy. So Bob Lucas shared a chart with us, guys, and he makes a count that we have a top 4-year cycle top, followed with a bottom, followed with another short-term bull market. Bitcoin going to maybe even $1 million US, and then we are going into a longer term bear market correction. And when I look at this chart, guys, it makes so much sense for me personally, because I was the guy who maybe 1 year ago said like, oh, this will be the last bull market of Bitcoin. And I actually thought that at the time, but right now I actually think things are changed because the market has moved slightly different, especially with altcoins, but also everything that I'm seeing on the horizon, the world that we are going to enter, which is going to be a crazy world. The world is already getting crazy right now, but when you look at the structures that are in place, right? The structures that are in place, governments, fiat currencies, they are all being broken down right now as we speak. They are being broken down, and there will come a tipping point where the fiat currencies will lose tremendous amounts of value, and a alternative system will come. And in that transition period, I believe we are going to see crypto doing very, very good, because we already see right now that crypto has a lot of use cases, right? So you have the war in Ukraine and Russia. A lot of people from Russia flee the country. Their bank account get either frozen or they get sanctioned by other European countries with their bank account. So that was a big problem in order to move capital around, right? So the only way around that is actually to do crypto. Why? Because if you buy like bars of gold, you cannot travel the border, or maybe at the border they get confiscated. So you have all these types of risks, right? Then in the new country, you have to sell that gold again. And of course, you can sell gold. It's probably way easier to sell crypto. Crypto is already way more liquid and easier than gold, if you ask me. So this is a good use case. And this is just the start of what we are seeing in this world, because the way the world is going to be more turbulent, it's going to be more volatile, you're going to have these structures that are set in place. They will just collapse. Some structures will collapse, and there will be some turmoil between some countries. People will flee to other countries. The whole world will flee from one side to another. This is really what I think. And this is only possible with crypto if you want to have your safety, right? So like I said, a lot of Russian bank accounts got frozen or they got sanctioned. So that means that if you had a lot of money just in your bank account, you were a rich and wealthy person in Russia from one day to another. If you didn't adjust and didn't use crypto, then you could not use that money. So it's not worth anything anymore just because you want to move places. You are not on the same aligned with your government, or you are actually a political refugee, right? You are fleeing the country. So I believe that more and more liquidity will go to crypto due to these problems. And this scenario, guys, what Bob is telling to us is actually reflecting exactly the scenario that I'm talking about. So many people, they actually think, and I was one of them, that this is the last bull market, and then we get a very big bear market. And the main reason for that is because we have seen a bull market for over 10 years. The price has been going up for so long, which we call a secular bull market. So a 4-year cycle is 3 years up, 1 year down. That's one bull market, right? But if you zoom out, you have a secular bull market with 4-year cycles. So you have 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years. That's all a bull market. It can also turn around, right? 3 years down, 1 year up, 3 years down, 1 year up. Like every energetical push in this universe has an equal opposite energy, which will eventually be expressed as well. So what comes up must come down, what goes down must come up. These are standard hermetic principles that we are seeing in this universe. But the big question is, of course, when does that transition happen? And I believe that we have this bull market still a lot of fuel left. In the next coming months, we are going to see how much fuel that's going to be. Then I think we are going to have a regular bear market where we are going into the end of 2026. We are going into a new cycle low. But I believe that afterwards we are going to see a lot of increase in prices in the stock market, but also in crypto, and it will steal the show again. We'll have a massive rally, as you can see right here. And during this rally, guys, this is something we got to realize. The higher Bitcoin goes, the more turmoil there is in the world. So that's pretty crazy, but that was actually right here as well. Here we saw a little bit turmoil. Bank accounts that were getting closed. Here are already a lot of people in 2017 don't trust the banks anymore. Here it's becoming even more, and right now it's becoming even more, guys, even more. I can really talk about this for ages, and I'm not claiming that I have the absolute truth, because just on this channel I'm sharing my opinion. But I really do feel that there is such a significant event taking place on Earth right now, such a big transition, that we are one of the generations that are experiencing one of the craziest events, transition periods in this world. And what I personally believe is that the world is going to split into an organic world and an artificial world. And we already see that right now. People giving their power away to artificial intelligence or artificiality. It's not real. It's not real. And the people who are going to follow that path are going to live in a different world than the people that are going to try and stick and trust on their own system and on their own creation power, basically. So this is a little bit deep talk. I'm talking more about this on my second YouTube channel to not bother the crypto community too much with this. But sometimes I also think it's very important to say, and I feel the need to express my feelings as well, because we all have to be aware of this. We all have to be very much aware of this, that the choices that we make right now during this lifetime are probably very, very important. It's not for nothing that so many spirituality and religions are coming back, right? They are all coming back. People are feeling drawn to religions again, and I have nothing directly against religion, but I have something against something that's taking your own power away. So everything that is empowering you, put you in your authenticity, take the life of Jesus, for example, right? I always said, like, Jesus didn't create Christianity, but he's setting the example. So it's not, you don't want to be a good Christian, but you want to be Jesus-like. You want to be Christ-like. That is way more important than to be a good Christian. That's what I personally believe. But yeah, a little bit too much about religion. I believe you have to be able to trust on your own creation power and to increase that trust and to build from that trust. And this is where it comes together right here, because we all know George Orwell, 1984. We all know that what's going on right now in Europe. We also know what's going on in the world. And things are moving at a very fast speed. Things are very moving fast right now. So that's why we have to stay a little bit grounded during these times, I believe as well. But you can already imagine, if this rally comes in the late part of this decade, right? The late part of this decade, how will the world look like then? Like, it will be a very chaotic world. We're already seeing robbings going on right now. We're already seeing all that chaos going on right now, right? Imagine at the end of this decade, it will be more. And there's so much things are coming at the end of this decade. Like in the Bible, it's even mentioned the Jubilee year is coming as well. All these cycles that are going on, right? They come together at the end of this decade. So the end of this decade, guys, is going to be an event that is going to be so significant that we haven't seen such an event in the past 2,000 years. Maybe even a little bit longer. So imagine you are living in a time where we are going to see a transition, such a big of a transition that we haven't seen in 2,000 years. So even our grandparents, great-grandparents, they have had significant lives, but they have not even experienced the crazy things that we are going to go through, although they may have some crazy lifetimes, definitely. But when I'm looking at these cycles, I just see that a lot of things are coming together, and there will come a great shock in the world, a great awakening, a great change, a great transition. And it's important for us to lead that transition into the direction which gives us the authentic power, instead of us giving the authentic power away. So we all know George Orwell, right? The story where we are all going to be controlled, where you cannot have freedom, where you cannot have an opinion, where you are kind of like a slave. Well, it's already a little bit discussable whether we are a slave in the past years or in the past hundreds of years, because we are being played on many levels, that's for sure. But right now, that all that happened in the past couple of hundreds of years, all the manipulations, all the structures that set in place that are taking wealth from the whole society and put it to this really small group of people, this pyramid structure. That's why you see pyramids also overall in this world, because it is a pyramid structure. It is going from the lower classes into the top. So there's always one person above another person. I believe this also needs to change, because we are all equal, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have or whatnot. We are in the end all equal. So the pyramid structure has to change into a flat field where everyone has a similar value. But yeah, like I said, this pyramid structure, all these structures that belong to that pyramid structure, they are going to be unraveled. They are not going to be so secret anymore, because we have been deceived for hundreds of years. So right now, and you can already feel that in the past 10 or 20 years, you suddenly start to see, oh wait, this was not real, or wait, this was not real. This is invented to get us to do this. This was invented to take power away from us. That is all being unveiled, and it's right now to us to take the power back and then stand on our authenticity and create something new and better that is that will give the rights back to the people, that makes everyone equal again. So we don't need to control one and another. No, we just need to be centered in our heart, and we need to live from our pure intentions, live from our heart space. I think that's very important. But nevertheless, I'm now going way off topic. But yeah, the scenario right here that Bob Lucas is sketching is we have a regular 4-year cycle, which we almost stop probably late this year, right? Then we have a correction into November 2026 roughly. Then we have not a normal 4-year cycle, but we have a short rally. And this is of course, again, aligning as well with Agenda 2030. The timing is all coming together from everything, but also with the Jubilee year. And one of the things that is mentioned in the Bible as well is that with a Jubilee year, a lot of turmoil is expected, right? A lot of things it's really a big reset. So what the elite are telling us, like, yo, the great reset is coming, they actually right. Biblically, the great reset is coming. It's just not the reset that they are talking about. They want to reset the world and get more control, but what actually happens is the world is going to have a reset where the people that are in power and that have money and that have been dominating humanity for a while, they will lose their power, because everything that they build is based on deceit, and deceit is going to be gone. The illusion is going to be gone. The veil will be lifted, so we can recognize what actually happened. And once we recognize it, we can see it, we can start visualizing and imagining a different world, a better world for every human being. Everyone is equal. And that comes in that last part. But like I said, what biblically also is said is that the pre-Jubilee year, the time before the Jubilee year, will be tremendous wealth. There will be a tsunami of wealth, because then you have time to prepare to go through the hard times, right? This is the same because a Jubilee year is just a bigger cycle of a 7-year cycle. So one of the other 7-year cycles was 9/11. 9/11 marked the end of a 7-year cycle. But before 9/11, the years before 9/11, there was a lot of prosperity, a lot of wealth, a lot of increase in the markets. So people could prepare for the 7th year if you just take profits, or if you just prepare on the years ahead, the years before. So I think right now we are going to see the same. I think this bull market has been nice, right? We have seen Bitcoin, and definitely a lot of people make money. The pendulum swinged in one certain way. We haven't seen the extreme yet. We are eventually going to have somewhat of a 1-year bear market, 1-year correction. And then I think we are going to get a real acceleration, like Bob Lucas is saying right here. And that real acceleration is the preparation. And I think many people that have visions about the wealth transfer, this is exactly what they are seeing. That is exactly the wealth transfer that is going on. I personally believe. This is just my belief right now, and I also understand that my belief and my understanding of the markets is changing day by day by getting new information. But for me is always the most powerful indicator for when I think something is going to happen is, of course, intuition. I've been in the markets already since 2016, 2017. But most importantly, when things are falling together. So what we earlier discussed today, with the Bitcoin 60-day cycle coming to an end, the 10-day moving average coming down, the liquidity with the liquidation heat maps. We have all these. The market is, let's say market is a box, right? And you look at the market from different perspectives. And when different perspectives fit in each other, then that is, for me personally, it makes me more like, okay, this is interesting. If you just have one perspective or two perspectives that fit, but then you have some other perspective that actually don't fit that narrative, then you can maybe think like, okay, the chances of this playing out might be a little bit lower. But yeah, I believe on a macro scale, this is going to happen. And I made actually a video about this, guys. I made a video about the Jubilee year. I posted that on my second channel. This is the first video that I posted on my second channel. And this is probably the most important video that I've made on both channels, right? I believe this is the most important. Why? Because it's touching so many things. So many things are coming together. The world is not only material. The world is very spiritual in nature. The world, like material, is just an expression of the spirituality, right? So that's why it's so important to develop yourself like horizontally in all fields, because if you just have money, you're not gonna make it. Why? Because you are not living a life on values, you don't have a certain discernment, and in the world that we are going into with AI and stuff, the connection is going to be so important. So if you have a lot of money, but you don't have the discernment, you probably come into situations where you are going to lose that money very quickly. So that's why it's so important to develop yourself horizontally, that you create an intuition, you have a connection, you know who you are, you feel your authenticity, you know your powers, and you dare to stand in that authenticity. That's also very important. These are all very important values we all need to have, and for every one of us these values are different because we are all different beings, right? But we need to increase that. We need to increase that, and we need to harness that. And then the material expression of wealth, safety, will be an automatic effect on top of that. And not even an automatic effect. You will also be able to keep that because you created, or you increased the discernment for making good or the right decisions. But yeah, guys, I'm very curious about your opinion about all of this. You can drop it in the comment section down below. We have a community where you can talk with like-minded people as well, the wealth transfer community. Be careful when you enter that community. There are some people, we try to ban them always as soon as possible, but some people they get like some DMs the moment they join the community with some fake investments, like some scammers basically trying to send them a message. So be careful of that. But yeah, I would love to see you guys in the community, and I actually would love to organize a meetup. I know not like many people are always from all over the world, so it might be a little bit difficult. But yeah, I would just put it out there. I would love to have a meetup and meet like-minded people. Okay, guys, that was it for today's video on Monday. I hope you're doing good. Drop a thumbs up, guys. That is very much appreciated. Subscribe if you are new. Let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. And I wish every single one of you a beautiful day. And I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye-bye.